Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to askNK. Today we have some interesting findings that you guys will definitely love. And if you love Blender and of course you do love working with the geometry node, this is a beautiful one. So to get started, you need to go over to blender.org, then go over to downloads, go all the way down, go over to the Blender experimental, and you would not find that here because it is still an experimental branch. So you need to go over to the branch section and you'll see that sweet temporary geometry node extrude mesh section or file. And this is the one that you need. You need to download this and get started. So once you download this and you fire up Blender, you would notice that it looks pretty similar to what you already have. But this comes with some very cool stuff that you will want to. You will definitely want to get this one. So to get started, let's get this cube out and put a simple grid. Now with this grid here, I'm just going to dive over to the geometry nodes and click on the word new, and let me start by telling you guys that you no longer need to hold down Shift and tap A on your keyboard because that is old news. You still don't need to go over to add, type anything from here. You just simply need to click and drag and let go, and at this point you can start doing amazing things. For example, you can type in the word delete geometry now and you have that. You can also go over, click and drag and type in the word add, and you can add anything that you want. You like to do extrude? Of course, type in the word extrude, and the fuzzy searching now is extremely nice because you can just type EM extrude mesh and you can see everything that actually deals with EM right here. And I can just simply select this and drop. So let's talk about the extrude mesh and some of the beautiful things that you can do with it. First off, the extrude mesh has 5 different inputs, 3 different outputs, which are extremely lovely. And you can also notice that down here, you can extrude faces, edges, and also the vertices. Let's actually zoom a bit closer just to see this. And one thing which I wish is for us to have like a back cap, or maybe cover the back or something, because that doesn't exist if you're dealing with planes, and that is just one of them. But regardless of that, every other thing looks pretty nice. So in this case, I can increase the length of my extrusion, which is beautiful. Now, if you look down here, you can see that we have mesh, which is cool. We have the selection, which is the selection you would like to extrude. This works more if you have multiple subdivisions and you like to experiment with that. That is definitely going to work. We have the offset, we have the strength, and also the individual. So to experiment with this, if you would want to offset stuff, let's just go in and type in the word add. We can offset these based off anything. We're looking for a vector add. So I'm just going to add that and say we would like to change the offset of this, and you can see we can do that. We can also change the offset to go this way. Let's look at this at a 45, and we can also do something like that. So depending on how you like to offset, you can now do all of this. You can choose to use a simple add. You can multiply this if you want. You can, divide this if you want, and you can just do some crazy and beautiful things with it. Now, this is for the offset. For those who like to do some individual stuff, let's actually make copies. So copy and paste and grab that there. And with this, I can set this to individual, and you can start seeing that we can now drive individual faces, which is also very, very brilliant. We do not have an inserting at this point. And yeah, it's just one of those things. We don't have insert now. This is still very, very new. It's still in its very experimental stage, but so far so good. It looks good. So you would also notice that we have selection, which we're going to talk about soon. But before we talk about the selection, if you look right here, you notice we have 3 different outputs. The first one is mesh to mesh, which is cool. And then we have the top and the side. By default, once you're extruding things, the extrude node provides you with 2 to 3 different groups. And the groups that we're having right now in Blender is the top and also the side. So these groups can serve as selections, which you can use to drive several things. And we can pick this group from the top and plug this to the selection. And in this case, once we do that, you would notice that we are only extruding to the top. If we select this now and drive this to the side, you would notice that we're only extruding to the side. And this begins to open a whole lot of possibilities for lots of creators. So at this point, you can say you would like just the top to do the business, connect this other one right here, and we can throw in a simple join node, all right? And we can get that join connecting, connect this right here, and connect this here. So with this, you can also throw a simple transform. Sorry, let's link this up so we can get a simple transform, connect that transform right here, connect this other one right over there, and let's go in and get this other one out. So we can throw in a simple transform, and we can transform this however we choose. So there's just a whole lot of possibilities and things that you can now do with the geometry node. Now let's talk about the selection. If you like to use the selection, it is extremely simple to get started with it. The selection works exactly like what you get once you're working with the delete node. And to get this happening, you need to switch over to your edit mode, select a couple of vertices. So in this case, I'm just going to select, let's say something like this, which is cool. Okay, this looks nice. Or maybe we can select even more. So we can just go ahead and select something like this. Okay, so once you have this selected, you can go over to vertex, go right here to vertex group, assign a new group, or you can go over to your object properties, click on the plus sign, and assign a new group. So once you do that, you can go ahead and start doing some miracles. And one of the cool miracles that you can do with this now is you can actually delete stuff. All right, so we've probably looked at this one before. So you can delete stuff, click, connect this here, run this bad boy over to the selection. Let's switch this back to the object node, and you would notice that because we haven't specified the selection we would like to delete, it simply deletes everything. To specify the selection you like to delete, click on the group input, go over to the modifier, click on this tiny button, and select the group. And that way, you have it deleted. And right now, if you like to use the extrude node on this, you can. So for the extrude node, you can also simply use the same group that you've made. So I can just type in the word extrude, and we can get this here. And with this, I can connect this one right over there, connect the selection back to the selection, and you can see we are extruding just this part, which is so nice. And because geometry node is extremely procedural, we can do something more. We can also do a simple extrude mesh, and we're having two different meshes now. So we can also connect this one right here, and we can do this. Okay, let's throw in that join for good measures, and we can have this join right here, connect this one right here, connect this other one right here, and it's just it just starts making sense. You can do whatever you want, and you can just go to town with these bad boys. Something which I really love to see that would come over to the geometry node or maybe to the extrude mesh is one beautiful thing that Houdini actually does. So if we go over to Houdini and we launch in a simple box, and I jump right into the box, if I would like to extrude a given part, not selections, okay? If I would like to extrude a given part, I can choose to turn this on and see the primitive numbering or the face numbering. So with that, we can do some crazy things. One of the things that we can do is, let's do the Polygon Extrude, which is like what we just done in Blender. And I can just wire this right over to that one, connect it, make sure it's turned on. And if I would like to extrude just 1 and 5, I can enter the value 1, 5, press the enter key, use the distance to extrude this, use the insert to insert this. Okay, so maybe we can start getting things like this. This might look cool. Lots of people will love it. And it also makes sense to note that just like I explained for the top and the side, Houdini also has the output. So you can output the back if you want. And in this case, if you do have like extruded backs, you can output the back, and you can also cause the back to become a group. You can cause the sides to become groups. You can cause the front to become group. And you can use this group for so many things. In this case, if you're trying to bevel, which is something we don't have right now in Blender. So if I go over to PB, which is like the poly bevel, we can wire this bad boy in, and I can do my distance beveling. But like I mentioned, we already created the groups here. So we can simply use those groups that we created and just bevel specific parts. You want to bevel the front? Cool. Let's simply go back and bevel just the front. You want to bevel the side? Okay, you can add the side to the equation, and you can bevel the side. Okay, so once you do all of that, you can now start, playing with this and increasing the division however you want. So in this case, you can just go to town with the entire thing and have fun with it. And if you're also thinking about playing with individual sections, you like to bevel some sections and not some sections, you can. So we can say we want to bevel number 6, number 7, select this one, go right over here, enter the values 6 and 7. These are the ones we would like to bevel, and you just have those ones beveled. So there's just a whole lot of cool things that this would offer, and it will make sense to see the folks at Blender Foundation implement this. So far so good. What we have coming to the geometry node is extremely lovely, and I cannot wait to see what lots of people we'll start doing with this. So for those who like to get this, you want to try it, you can simply go over to the link in the description that can bring you right here where you can download this and start experimenting with it. Tell me what you guys think about this one in the comment sections, and of course if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And until I see you guys in the next one, peace.